lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Command has ordered an immediate investigation into the death of Mr. Kaduna Bondin, the former Nigeria Labour leader. The former Nigerian Labour Congress NLC chairman in the state over a scuffle with some officers of the command. Reports had that the Commissioner of Police in the command, Umori Ozigi, gave the order to the statements made available to Benin City. The statement signed by the command's image maker, SP Moses Yamu, on behalf of the commissioner said the command remains committed to upholding the rule of law and ensuring justice prevails in every situation. The statement dated December 4, 2024 is titled, "Re-demanding Justice for Comrade Kaduna Ebobodin following his avoidable and untimely death due to unprofessional conduct by the Nigeria Police Force." According to him, the Edo State Command of the Nigerian Police has received with great concern news of the death of Kaduna Ebobodin, former chairman of Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC in Edo State, allegedly due to police unprofessional conduct. The Commissioner of Police, CP Umori P. Ozigi, wishes to use this medium to commiserate with the widow, family, friends, and associates of the deceased over the loss and pray for the repose of his soul. He further noted the cordial working relationship existing between the police, civil society organizations, NLC, and all critical stakeholders in the state, and has therefore directed the immediate investigation into the incident. Members of the coalition of civil society in the state had on Tuesday, December 3, 2024, at a joint press conference in Benin City demanded for justice for the late perennial coordinator of the Edo Civil Society Organization. The spokesperson of the group, Omobude Abo, alleged that the death resulted from the unprofessional misconduct of the certain members of the Nigerian Police Force at the roadblock on the Upper Sopwomba axis. And quickly, I'll get a background story about this incident. We had that the former NLC chairman of Edo State with his wife actually were traveling on transit on the highway, and then they were intercepted by the police. They asked for his documents, which he presented to them, and they were all correct. You know, it got to a point where they were actually having this scuffle argument over issues that we really didn't really know the exact situation. In the situation, he slumped and passed out, and they rushed him to the hospital. On the process, he was pronounced dead. You know, and then now the police force in Edo State, the men involved did not render help to the situation. Instead, they fled the scene. You know, and now the police, Edo State Police Command has said that they are looking for this men involved. Do you think that, I don't know, because we've been having the issue of police brutality and police stopping for stop and search kind of situation. Do you think they're actually handling it right? So the situation that someone had to die in the process. I would love to get your thoughts about this.
Well, I think we need to express our condolence to the family of the deceased. It is something that shouldn't have happened. But that's what we have on our hand. And the police force is saying that the actions of its members were very unprofessional. As they put from the police. But it's strange that they are looking for them. Because you see, what that means is that those who mount these roadblocks just get there without proper identification, without proper posting. Now, if the late labor leader had all the papers correct, what was the need for a scuffle? The implication is that they wanted something which he could not provide.
And what could that be?
You know what it is. You know what it is. I have been told by the IG that we should not be saying things like this. We should rather write it to the department. Yeah, it brings down the image of the police, but this is the truth. Yesterday, the governor of Rivers State went to a chair. All the police checkpoints that we know, more than 5 that we see on the chair route, all disappeared. They were not there. But as soon as the governor left, they reappeared.
So that means they weren't actually designated to be there by the police command.
This is the point. It's either something that the DPO knows, that the Commissioner of Police does not know on how to police his environment, his organizational area. But the thing is very clear. The police, there's nothing wrong with having stop and search outposts.
Properly.
But the police should define what those outposts are. And you find that most of those people on those who mount those roadblocks, look at that, there are no name tags.
Most of them remove their name.
So how do you even tell yourself that the person you saw is a policeman?
Yes.
You understand? Anybody can wear an uniform now. That's true. That's Nigeria for you. Okay? But I think that in doing his assignment, the police must, it's a must, should be able to define how he wants to do the job. Because what is happening is embarrassing. Now, a man who should not die has died. Those who blocked him on the road like armed robbers ran away as soon as the man slumped. Meaning that they were on illegal duty. These days you see them with all kinds of motors. They're not even properly marked police cars. I don't know where they get these keke buses from. I don't know where they get some of these vehicles, you know, that they use. Because police cars should be properly identified. Okay? And if you're a policeman on duty, please put your tag on. This is one instance when the police...
And your division where you're from?
Even if you can't get that, the name tag leads us to who?
To who, okay.
Now, Fela sang about unknown soldier. Now, the police is looking for an unknown policeman. You see, it's strange. Not just quite strange. You know, at this point of our development, I think it is not... but let's commend the commissioner for being human, for saying to the family of the deceased, the police sympathizes with them, you know. But what is completely unacceptable and which the police must not toy with is a hunt for those policemen.
Okay.
They are men that they are men. If they are not their men, they should say so. But they should find those men, even if they are criminals.
Oh, okay. Chief, quickly, I would love to get something clearer. This police brutality case has been on and on before now, and about the roadblock issue, the stop and search thing, you see some of this food transporters, you know, get stopped. Sometimes these policemen do not do the stop and search situation. It turns into something else, and this has been prolonged over and over and over again, and nothing has been done about it. And we have a case in Edo State, and there could be other scenarios that occurred and nobody knew about it. We actually knew about the situation right now because this is an NLC chairman, a profound person, a personality, you know, and then we sometimes we get to worry over our life. These are people that have been set to protect lives and properties, and they have been the ones destroying them. Are there no process, there's no what's the word, policies to, you know, put in place? Because most time you hear that, oh, most of them were dismissed, they were demoted, and then next thing, that's how the case ends. And it continues over and over again. What is going on? Why is this a continuous process? Why hasn't why haven't an end been put to this, you know, mayhem caused on Nigerians by the police force?
This has become part of the image of the police. That's what the police is. People whose identities were not even clearly marked before they were employed by the force. The army put out a recent advertisement, you know, for recruitment. It will surprise you that the army was able to write, after those names were screened, that stakeholders should not recommend men like this. Meaning that the army had done due diligence. Okay? That's the army. The DSS will not take anyone, male or female, until they have investigated it down home.
Okay, that's a new process that's been put into place right now.
That is before you get employed.
Okay.
I'm just mentioning agencies that do due diligence.
Okay.
But it is not so with the police. Non-criminals have become part of the police force. All they do is have the height, get a man, whoever the chief is, whether the chief is a chief or a thief, to write a recommendation. That's all. They don't know from which family the man hails, what kind of attitude he had in the village before he left for the police force. Nothing. It's not their business. So you have stragglers. When they run away, they do things, they run off. Because the police can't even trace them. They are men of no fixed address.
Because this is actually a thing for concern, because Nigerians are more exposed to the police than the army. We see them on the road on a daily basis. If you're traveling from here to Bayelsa, for example, you see lots of roadblocks.
Okay.
Lots
Even from here to Uri, if you're going to Uri, you have
know,
more than 10
you know how many
police
you would count.
outposts. Oh, from here to here they stop you. From here to here they stop you. So you ask yourself, if you have passed through the first police point, or you're on the same route,
and you
route,
yes, right?
Why would somebody else on the second place stop you?
Do you get?
You understand? So this is a thing. A very sore way of policing, and we know that it also makes the environment, very unpleasant for those who do business. Part of ease of doing business is that you have routes that are clear, and then all of these things that amount to double taxation. The system is taxing you, the police is taxing you, everyone is taxing you on the road. It's not good for business. Now, but we should also say to ourselves, much as we condemn what the police force has become in Nigeria, you can find that it's not only Nigerian police. The only difference is that in other crimes, the police takes immediate steps to make sure that those who are responsible for acts like this, the black must breathe. All of those things tell you what the police has become across the world. A body which ought to be responsible, but which some of the times have letting bullies who act under the cover of uniform and then dehumanize others. They take their anger to the world. The policeman thinks it's right. The minute should before your wife, for example, or before your girlfriend, can slap you just to prove a point. A corporal.
Yes.
To show you that you're nothing. Okay? So he has a gun, waits for you where the road is broken, behaves like a normal armed robber. The only difference is that this one has a uniform and the other armed robber has no uniform.
It's actually a sad one that the NLC chairman in Ado State had to pass in a situation like this. Well, we hope that the culprits get apprehended. Thank you very much, Chief, on that. We have to move forward. Talking about extortion, we have that the Anambra State Universal Basic Education Board has issued a stern warning to teachers and school heads allegedly sabotaging Governor Chukwuma Solodo's free and compulsory free education policy. The board said 6 teachers have been sacked for sabotaging education in the states by charging money for sundry reasons. Dr. Vera Nkiru Nwadinobi, executive chairman of the association, disclosed this at a press briefing in her office on Wednesday. Nwadinobi said the level of sabotage in the system was revealed through an investigative team which discovered alarming cases of extortion in some public schools, including Awada Primary School 1 to 6 in Obosi. Additionally, the head teachers allegedly got the Parent-Teacher Association to agree that every child would pay 200 naira for the cleaning of the school toilets, despite the state government's provision of 50,000 naira monthly running costs and interest to cover such expenses. Other unauthorized fees discovered by the investigative team includes fees for compiled questions and answers for verbal and quantitative subjects, setting novels, lesson fees sent forth for retiring or transferred teachers, burial levy, common entrance exam fees above the official approved amount of 2,900 exam portal, and passport photos. We're just talking about the police force, Chief, and the extortion has been going on, and then we're getting this from teachers that groom the future of the generation. 200 naira to clean toilets, and then you have to pay for burial levy. You have to pay for teachers sent forth parties. You have to contribute for teachers that have been sent forth in a free and compulsory school education system. This is something else.
Now, if these contributions, there are some that may be necessary. These things are endemic. They've been there over the years. When we were young and we were in primary school, we were supposed to do what they call this, when you produce brooms, you go to the bush, harvest your tree front, and then clean it up,
Yeah.
tie it to a bundle.
And take it to the school.
I think they used to call it handwork.
Okay, you take it to the school to use
so
in the school.
that is evidence that what you were taught in school, you have practicalized it.
Okay.
Now, but over time, some of those things have not turned to money earners. Okay, they know these children won't do it. Okay, how do you ask a child in town to in a tertiary school now to give you broom? It means that they'll go to the marketplace and buy it.
Buy it, yes.
Okay. Now, it's not like they'll go and buy those fronts and then bring them to the school and then get the children to cut them. And before them, within a period of time, see them do those things because you're teaching them something.
True.
Now, how can you explain that the state has provided a sum of 50,000 for sanitary reasons? And some teacher somewhere goes on out to ask for 200 naira per student, and it shows you what happens in our schools. You send a principal to a school, they say, that school has low population, and send us to another bigger school. What do they mean by that? Because it means that the money they want to collect through illegal means may not be sufficient. If a man was to be sent to a school of, say, 200 persons, another one is sent to a school of, say, 1,000 pupils. You know that the one who has 1,000 has more money.
Imagine you get 200 naira from 1,000 people.
So this is the thing. Now, but we must look at the matter in the face and say, look, the Anambra, the government of Soludo is working hard. The aim is to ensure that children go to school.
Yes.
Free. That they are entitled to quality education. And this man has been paying more money to teachers. We see them on television, them singing songs and dancing.
Yes.
So what is this extra one? My people have a proverb that if you eat meat and a little gets stuck in your teeth, even if you bring it out, you do not enough now.
It's satisfying.
So why do these things? It's sad, but you see, it's evidence of the kind of society that we live in. You know, where one finger is pointed at the other one and the remaining
pointing at you.
So it's unfortunate, you know, but it's disturbing because these children are usually described as children with impressionable minds. If at this age they can see all of this inconsistency in our behavior pattern, in our orientation, growing up, and say even when we were in school, our teachers were like this. Hey, you have laid the foundation now.
Yes.
It's something that is very difficult to remove from the psyche of the child. And so we need to appeal to them. If you like, condemn it. It didn't change anything. But we need to appeal to those teachers.
But with Chief, we actually have the government, sacked them in quotes out of the school.
That's
yes. So, but do you think that this is actually, this can help in any way to curtail or stop this extortion happening in schools by sacking? Because you sack them from the school, they go to another school and continue this.
No, you see, when you are sacked, you are sacked.
Okay,
the only difference is that they will never be able to work in
any public schools. They could work in a private school.
Go to a private school where there is a regime of guidelines too.
Okay.
So you work according to the dictates of, you know what it is, that you are sacked and your name is on the street. You know, in your village, they know you're a thief. Amongst your colleagues, that's the teacher who gave us a bad name. How do you face your children?
True.
You see, I think that what the government has done in sacking them, we must remove the bad eggs, and they have done the right thing in sacking them.
But I still wanted to get something here. Sacking these teachers that's involved in this school extortions, do you think this will help not for the next ones that will come into the body, you know, not to get affected, the bad eggs not to get affected?
The issue is, look, there's a saying that you can't learn how to be left-handed in old age, assuming that you're a right-handed person. Some of these people already have their character formed, you know, but what you have seen should act like a deterrent. to those with similar tendencies.
To do
you
that.
Say, look, we are our eyes on you. And if you do it, we'll deal with you. Honestly. So it's a way of enhancing discipline, of ensuring better conduct among the teaching staff. And you know that teachers shouldn't even have anything to do with money. They have to come and teach. The headmasters are in charge of administration. They only administer the monies that they are allowed to administer by law, by convention. You know, so the thing is, it's sad. Of course, if you say that we don't have bad acts in society, then we're lying to ourselves.
True.
But what the government has done in terms of ensuring discipline is welcome. And we can only appeal to teachers on behalf of the kids that they are teaching. They want more careful the way they behave, because these children are likely to emulate them because they are role models.
Thank you very much, Chief, on that thoughts. But moving forward, we have that the Federal Capital Territory Police Command has announced a clampdown on vehicles with tinted windows and covered number plates as part of efforts to curb rising criminal activities such as kidnapping. SP Josephine Ade warned vehicle owners in the FCT to remove any tinted glass from their vehicles or face the risks of having their cars impounded. She wrote, for now, the use of tinted glasses on vehicles is prohibited. If your vehicle has tinted glasses, kindly remove them to avoid having your vehicle impounded by the police. This is one of the measures implemented to combat the rising incidents of one chance and other criminal activities in the FCT. The FCT Commissioner of Police, Olatunji Disu, also reiterated this directive during a parade of suspects on Tuesday. In a video posted alongside the statement, Disu said many of the victims rescued from kidnappers had cited the use of tinted windows as a factor that made it difficult for people to identify them as being in distress, and explained that criminals often took advantage of vehicles with covered numbered plates to carry out their operations without being traced. Following the directive banning vehicles without number plates and the use of tinted glasses, no fewer than 296 vehicles has been impounded in FCT already. I'm sure you have a tinted car glass.
Now the question to ask is not whether I have a tinted glass.
Okay, do you have a tinted glass?
But the issue is, the question must be directed properly. What do we do about cars that are customized, that are built with tinted glasses, that are sold in Nigeria? Are you going to ask the person
not to use it?
You see, this is the thing.
And covered plate numbers.
Now, if you look at the picture that they showed you, those covered plate numbers belong to some big SUV cars of people in government
that do not want to be traced,
and which may not be used. I think the police should be able to separate the wheat from the chaff. You know, some of these blanket orders, there are people who have eye problems. They know it. They issue approvals. The police issues approvals. There are people who have eyesight problems. You know, the exposure to the sun. This is a lot of problems. So they are, for medical reasons, requested to be in places where glasses that are dark and all, to make sure that the rays, sun rays, doesn't disturb them. Okay, they do these things now. If they are prohibiting people who should not be entitled to, then let them do so. If they want to re-register those using tinted glass cars so they can know who is using it, let them do so. But it is not the tint of your window that makes you a criminal.
Because most of these kidnappers can actually use an open vehicle and make you be in a calm state, and no one suspects.
Even when the windows are not tinted, and somebody is pointing a gun on your rib, you can't shake.
You don't say a word.
I think we should do something about the policing methods.
Okay.
Intelligence gathering is a very strong factor, you know, and unfortunately, I haven't even gone to a point where security agents are carrying body cams, you know, because that also helps you check what you're seeing on the road, who you are talking to, and what transpires on the road. You know, so there can be no better approach to policing in this country at this time than recourse to the use of technological aids, because it's a world of technology. Now, we shouldn't allow slave trade through the back door, because those who trade, who kidnap people, are probably engaged in slavery. You know, you grab a man against his wish and sell him. You know, if you don't get the money from the family, you kill him and sell the body parts. You know, so these are condemnable acts. And one can understand the concern that the police has in trying to address this.
Car glasses that has been customized, and most of these people could be very high profile individuals. Now they are saying that you cannot use tinted glasses at all. You cannot cover your plate number. Does this mean that
they know that even in terms of enforcement it'd be difficult? Oh yeah, now break into
that's the question. Can you break and impound their car and tell them you can't use, or is it just for the masses that cannot, you know, that do not have the means to actually fight for themselves?
They do have a department that issues some of these things. There are people who are using plate numbers marked spy police.
Yes.
There are people who are using plate numbers marked ambassador. The point I'm making is very clearly they obtain all of these permissions from the police. I think there's a section of the police, a department of the police that probably handles and interfaces with members of the public who need to have permission to use tinted glasses. You know, I think what they should do is to ask people who seek to use such shaded vehicles for different reasons to approach the police force properly through the front door. Then it's up to also the police to make sure that those who benefit at the end of the day, who are licensed to use that kind of car, are the ones who are using it. You know, but the point I'm making is that because I'm wearing dark glasses, it doesn't mean that I'm a drug addict. It'd be wrong to say, come on, remove your glasses, let me see your eyes.
And sometimes they actually do that.
I'm just using that as an example. I mean, it's crazy. It doesn't make you a drug addict. Okay? It doesn't make you a thief. If not, everybody who goes into a shop and buys an eyeglass is a thief then. And I don't think that's what the manufacturers of sunshades intended. You know, so this thing is, for me, I think, sometimes the way they handle policy is the execution of policy that sometimes leads to all these altercations. Because if you separate Paul from Barnabas, clearly, then there wouldn't be any reason to raise eyebrows, you know. But I think that they have, if this is what the police thinks it can do, well, it's a right to do so.
Well, do you think this policy can curb the case of kidnapping in the state as it stands?
I think dealing with the kidnap issue
is a totally different thing.
It's more technical.
Complex.
It has nothing to do with tinted glasses. They know it now. They know it. The important thing is, what is the level of intelligence that the police force is gathering? From the time an alarm is raised in the neighborhood, hey, they've taken someone, until those people get across on the road. Here in those days in rivers, once they take you on the road, they are headed for the riverside, and they are off by boat. So the point I'm just trying to make is that I think we need to update the way we police our environment. You know, police is your friend. There's a police must get people to work with them. You give them information that they need, critical, and when they secure this information, they act quickly. You know, because time is of the essence. All right, and because they certainly must be found on a route, so you know how to police that accident and make sure that that kidnapper or group of kidnappers are, you know, segmented to a given part of the city and blocked off from infiltrating into other parts, so that you can find them. if there is a kidnapper's den, certainly they will go into a den and then they will be found there. They and the people they have stolen, because this is stealing. You know, when a man steals a fellow man, you call it kidnapping, but it's stealing. And I think that, it is a level of police science that we have in Nigeria. And I think that that's what makes it a bit absurd. Okay. Because this is not, you know, some of the things is like that old cliche that says you leave substance and you're chasing shadow. You know, I think they should up their game.
So this is actually not supposed to be a thing of concern. What they should actually go to work on is the case of kidnapping and not the case of the tinted vehicles and
like I said,
hidden plate numbers.
It's not the tinted this thing. Admit that are bad eggs who may take advantage of it. Which is why you can get people, honest people, recognizable people in society to do what is normal. Please go to the police if you already have a police permission. Go and update it.
Because most of these tinted vehicles have certificates. Is that the right word to use? Or because not all cars have tinted glasses. You know, when you have one, you need to get a permit for that. And you know, so isn't that supposed to be an acceptable one?
By law, they should make sure that there are vehicles that are from the factory. They are tinted.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Now, what do you want a man who buys a car like that? Sometimes a customized car like that to do, because the tint is already there, meaning that even in the environment where those cars are made, they are acceptable, they are legal. Now, what do we do when you have a car like that? Because some of these other things that they are saying, you go to Ikoku and they dress your car up. You can dress it up now. But if your car has a customized tint, and if you see the customized tint, they are not usually to that.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then somebody will not tell you that they will impound. How do you want to impound such a car? You understand? You know, so some of these orders, so that we don't all look stupid or horrible. Let they learn how to package their message now. This is a public relations thing now from the public, because these statements are issued by public relations department. You should be able to segment the audience now. Okay. And they know how to approach all of us. We are not all criminals now. They're not all criminals. So they shouldn't treat all of us as criminals.
Yes, as the same.
It's not right now. Or do they want to say we are bloody civilians the same way the army used to call us? Let them tell us now so we know the difference.
Thank you very much, Chief, on that. Thank you so much on your thoughts. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with all the stories we have with us here. Just stay with us.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable
on the capacity of its people countries. So no agreement with the EU, but
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We have that the Senate on Wednesday summoned the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, Festus Keyamo, and the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, Captain Chris Najomo, over poor flight operations in the country. Airline operators and other relevant stakeholders in the aviation industry were also summoned over incessant delayed and cancelled flights in the country. Adopting a motion to that effect sponsored by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari, APC Oyo North, during plenary, the Red Chamber particularly charged its Committee on Aviation to unravel the circumstances behind the incessant flight delays and cancellations with a view to finding lasting solutions to the problem. This development is worrisome as air travel is one of the most reliable, dependable and quicker means of transportation, often taken for business official purposes and to keep other scheduled appointments, which are usually time-bound, he said. The senator cautioned that unwarranted flight delays and cancellations will be counterproductive to the socio-economic and growth, to the growth and development of this country. However, enforcement has been an issue as most Nigerians are yet even aware that they are entitled to compensation for time lost due to unnecessary delay. Hence, the need for the NCAA to activate these aspects of its regulation to that airline operators will sit up and be alive to take their responsibility, he said. Chief, quickly, I'm sure you travel a lot on air. You travel a lot on air, and I'm sure one or two, or oftentimes you've had situations where you have cancelled flights, delayed flights, and most cases they do not explain reasons why this happens. Sometimes they'll depend on the airline you travel with. Sometimes they'll just tell you, oh, your flight has been moved, your flight has been cancelled. Some airline will not actually explain reasons why this happened, and you might have important business appointments for that situation. And it's been lingering on and on. There was a situation where I was at the airport one time and a flight was cancelled. And one lady was actually in labor and she was supposed to travel to, get to, deliver. And she was in labor and she has to give birth at the airport, And we waited for like 5 hours for that situation. And most times they don't give offhand or before time announcement about this whole thing? What's your thoughts about this?
Well, you see, for the National Assembly to have decided to wade in, it's because there ought to be some level of regulation, and perhaps also it's part of their assignment, to see what other organizations that are appropriated for, which operate in our society, are doing. The oversight, that's what they call it. It will certainly come under the oversight function of the House. Now, the thing is that the airlines tell you from time to time, for operational reasons, it may be vague, but like what you say when you're in broadcasting, many years ago, we used to say, due to circumstances beyond our control. So such circumstances may exist. Now, but the liability, of the airlines for cancelled flights, for instance, without reason, is something that should never be overlooked. Yes, I've seen people slum at the airport simply because they missed a flight. Okay, and we've not been able to have a situation in this country where airlines will work in synergy. Okay, I bought a ticket for Arik and I got there.
And got cancelled and it will refer you to...
they can now put you on another flight, because there is a collaboration, some cooperation between them, So the airlines on the local level haven't been able to attain that kind of this thing. So you find that usually in Europe, you buy a Lufthansa ticket and then for some reason...
Sometimes you can actually have shuttles. Yes.
So they will now put you on another flight because they have a collaborative response, which makes the passenger move, And then if you're for any reason, operationally, they cannot fly, they put you in a hotel. I had a situation where my wife and I have spent another 2-3 days in a hotel because it was not our fault. There was an operational delay.
Yes.
So they put us so that we were on our way back to Nigeria. So they put us in a hotel to await the next flight that is supposed to originate from that source on its way to Abuja. So this is the thing. Those who are running airlines must learn to take responsibility. But it matters that are influenced by weather, for instance. The airlines have been, the operators of the airports, because of improved technological guys like the radar, are able to predict weather now properly.
Yes.
And if they know that if the aircraft takes off now, it's going to meet an obstacle in the air, they would prefer to hold down the aircraft until that circumstance up there is out of the way. So sometimes it's for security reasons. But honestly speaking, they should have PR departments that interact clearly with the passengers. And when it's the fault of the airlines, they should take responsibility. You can't keep a man at the airport for more than 4 or 5 hours, hungry, no food. They cannot even tell you to go to any of these lounges there
and
then
chill,
you find something and eat and freshen up. No, So I think in order to make our airline business, air travel more interesting, the operators must be made to do their taxes. This one I'm going to give a thumb up to the National Assembly.
Thank you very much.
No, it doesn't matter that I was part of that establishment. But it means that they are doing their job. Because we cannot run like this. A lot of people are no longer using the roads because they are not safe.
Yes.
Because the conditions of the roads are not okay. And then they want, and they pay through their nose to fly. And then they are dumped at the airport, for no reason. So
and sometimes you get to lose business opportunities.
Yeah, you do.
So do you think this can actually be put into process? Do you think they would have to work on this coming from the National Assembly?
I think there has to be serious collaboration between the National Assembly and the aviation sector, between the aviators and those who use the airports. There are a lot of, you see, yes, we are still developing. There are more airlines today that we are in there, you know. So more have come on stream.
Okay.
It can only get better.
Okay.
Because there is some competition in the air now in order to take a slice of that business that some people have monopolized over the years. And I think that also when you see people, who, some of these airline owners talk the way they are talking, opening new spaces for our flagship abroad, it can only have some impact back home because for some reason we will become much more in tandem with best practices.
Okay.
Everybody's talking about global best practices. I think that's what the National Assembly is trying to make sure.
Okay,
It's not as if we don't have delays.
It's a normal thing that can happen, like you said. Weather factor can also be one of the reasons.
So
yes.
So but you must have the ability. You must take care of those passengers. You don't tell them children like shit. Forgive me, that's not broadcast friendly. But the point is, what they're trying to say to one whom much is given, much is also expected. So I think it's a good thing, and we shouldn't say Kayamu. Nobody expected Kayamu to do the kind of things in the aviation industry. Again, it deserves a thumbs up. Okay.
Thank you very much, Chief, on that thought. Thank you so much. We will continue. We have the House of Representatives Committee on Polytechnic and Other Higher Technical Education has discovered that the newly established Federal Polytechnic Ugeb in Cross River State has only 142 students with about 154 academic and non-academic staff. The Polytechnic has also spent about 600 million naira on personnel and overhead costs, with another 38 million naira spent on local travels by the institution. The revelation came to limelight when the rector of the Polytechnic, Professor Edward N. Oke, led management of the institution to the house as part of oversight function. Chairman of the committee, Faud Laguda of APC Lagos, and members were also angered that the Polytechnic established in 2021 were spending such huge amounts of money as expenditure for just 142 students. Making his submission before the committee, the rector said that it spent 2 billion naira take-off grants received by the institution to renovate the abandoned and dilapidated Ugeb Community Secondary School to serve as a temporary campus, while putting up structures at the Institute of Technology Management, which he said they have eventually taken over as their permanent site. This is just something else. Imagine having,
first of all,
to spend so much.
We should start. Maybe they're trying to turn them to grade students. Who knows? If that must be a VIP school. 142 elite students.
Elite, oh, okay.
Elite students go up in over 600 million. How about? We should.
So wait, so does it mean that they give a different record to the committee this is the number of people we have?
This is the point. Even lawmakers themselves must resist. They must resist the temptation to come on the floor of the House and move bills that say federal government should establish this school there, establish this school there. What it shows you is that it's one of those schools that came under pressure, and they converted the secondary school into a polytechnic with a sum of 2 billion. Just look at it; it's not laughable. Now, if you put that money in an existing institution, Even if
imagine what it would be.
Even
the 600 million already would actually use something.
It will make more sense.
Than the 2 billion.
What you are seeing there is that it's taking them since 2021. Who's gone to where? So they went there to establish a community polytechnic. That's what they want to establish now. So you get people who have in the institution are the lucky ones. They are only 142. Largely, it must be the population must probably be from Ugep. You know, because you are not looking at the factors. What's the light situation there? What's the situation on the road? What's the security this thing for my child who's going to school in Ugep? You know, so this is the thing. I think that also because I haven't been there, I know how these things come. The federal government just didn't go there to establish that school. They are the ones establishing viable areas. They are the ones that come to the National Assembly, and they know it now. Somebody would have gone home now to say, I brought a polytechnic to my people. Look at the kind of polytechnic you brought to your people.
That you had to renovate a dilapidated secondary school.
You know, so this is the thing. It's unfortunate. I think the idea was right to bringing education closer to the doorpost of the people. But also note that many years ago, a lot of people from across the old East went to government secondary school, Umaya. They came from everywhere. A lot of people went to Anua, you know, to school, females in Calabar. A lot of people left for Queen's College in Lagos, you know. But those schools were quality schools. Now, this decentralization of education, which may not affect quality, because I'm not one of those who believe that the quality of education in Nigeria is falling. I don't believe that. Japan has proved that. Now, but the I brought it home syndrome should be reduced. I think that. So,
do you think it's the I brought it home syndrome that actually generated to this situation?
This school has not been able to grow, which means that in terms of planning, in terms of statistical planning, nothing was taken into consideration. The only thing that was taken into consideration was the lobby of the lawmaker on the floor of the house, the lobby of who get people to own a polytechnic. You know, even those old days, if you want a market, those communities that won't build markets, they send people there and people to other communities say, look, we are opening a market, you come and trade with us. So let them go about now publicizing Ugep Polytechnic the best way they can now. But for me, it only shows you that the investment in that school just become a waste.
So do you think the investment should be withdrawn, or this?
What can you do? No, you have already established it. You need to power it. So you can see the number.
And then more number of teachers.
Look at the academic and
non-academic staff. More than
the number of students. So it's Nigeria for you now. When we go to sports, don't we have more officials than sportsmen and women? Why? You just saw it manifest in education. Now you think it's a waste. It's a standard, you know. But it's a shame. It's a shame. It shows you that it was not well thought out. Because I doubt that the federal government would have just simply gone to Ugep and opened the polytechnic. I doubt, you know. But I know that some of these schools, the moves for them are made on the floor of the National Assembly. Okay,
so you're not saying that the funds that's been put into the school or about to the ones that they would get to put should be withdrawn. You're not saying it should be withdrawn, but what do you suggest that reps should do in this situation?
Look, as they say, the arrow has left the bow. This thing now is within the confines of the Minister of Education. All those who are responsible for polytechnic education. It's no longer the responsibility of the appropriator, because they will make appropriation, definitely. There must be something that's made the population of the school not to grow.
To reduce.
You know?
Okay.
But perhaps, if we were not a VIP school, then the students, given, because usually a problem when you talk in terms of ratio of students to lecturer, This one now, there are more lecturers per student. So it means that the students are more likely to be properly taught. So maybe what you lose in quantity, you can gain the quality. Because I'm just looking at it and wondering. But I know that the National Assembly cannot express that kind of shock because they know
about it from the beginning.
Some of these schools emerge from bills sponsored by members. Okay. They know it. They know it. So there's no. So
it's not a surprising thing for them because
they shouldn't be surprised. It should form a basis for future approvals.
Okay.
They need to do some more work. To be sure that you don't open schools that are not viable. Because what this means is that this UGEP Polytechnic is not viable. That's what it means.
Okay, so it's some situations like this will not come up in another scenario.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't happen.
Okay.
It makes for efforts, to strengthen existing schools.
Okay.
It is when they're overpopulated, when you are giving them all the push. Look what is happening now in Rivers. They are opening satellite schools. University of Science and Rivers University, no longer University of Science and Technology. So now we are beginning to have campuses.
Okay.
Which are affiliated to the modern school.
Okay.
That's what should happen.
And this is actually a polytechnic. This is not a state school or a federal school. It's a federal polytechnic, yes, but it's not a university.
That's why I'm making the comments I'm making. If the polytechnic was set up by the state,
okay,
if the polytechnic was
there
set
will
up
have
by
been
the
more
state,
cushion on it.
There'll be, of course, the state would have done everything possible, provide all those facilities that will bring students
into the school. Okay.
Okay. Because if you look
like you said, Chief, you're saying that the school is not conducive enough after all the money that's been invested
what you are saying there, it is not viable. And if it's not viable, it means that the environment is not as conducive.
Okay.
Give it to them. Since there are more lecturers teaching a few students, those students are VIP students.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Thank you very much. But this is where we wrap it up on today's episode of Blowouts. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Chief, for being here. It's always an amazing experience.
Thank you for allowing me a little time to be sarcastic.
It's okay. It's okay to be that way sometimes. I don't mind. It's okay. Thank you very much, Chief. And I would love to do this some other time. I'd love to have you here at the studio with us. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials on Facebook and YouTube, on Atn Television Network, on Instagram and TikTok, on Atn TV Network 1, on Twitter, on Atn TV Net, which is live on our website at www.atlantic.net.org.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Open Conversation comes up shortly. Don't go away. Thank you for watching. My name is Chidima Wandike. Do have a beautiful day.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honourable, you human.
Honorable Stieni, you understand this?
They are not picking our calls. They made up their mind.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific news, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the stories. First, Rivers State. 2025 budget yet to be presented. And then on to Edo State. Nullify appointment of traditional ruler by Obaseki. Community begs Obeblo. And then on to 2027. SCF recalls suspended chairman. On politics, APC will never govern Oyo, Osun State, Makinde says. And then on Dele Farotimi, Atiku accuses Tinubu of suppressing free speech. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
Economic stability and confidence. To condemn this act, I thought that putting up the lead of this minister and the government. I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which I
no matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
The contenders are corporate difficult to lead of this minister and the capital.
Give us access to our money in charge. I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but